Everybody, it's Dana Sullivan, the Stampin' Chick, here with another Make It Monday. How are you today, my friends? I hope you had a fabulous weekend. So, it is Monday, and I almost didn't do that little intro because I'm so used to doing the 13 days of Halloween treats, but it is, in fact, Make It Monday as well. So, here I am with another Make It Monday. All right, friends. So, I have a super fun, freaking adorable little treat holder to share with you today. This is a lot of fun. And yes, I have done M&Ms once already, but you know what? Let's face it. M&Ms are like the classic Halloween treat. They are the most amazing, most yummy, most popular, most famous of all of the candy treats that there are out there. So, I thought that it warranted a second project, and this one is totally different than the first one, so it's okay, right? All right. Now, I have this fabulous template over on my blog that will be going live here in just a little bit. And it has all of the measurements for us that we're going to need. But basically, we need a 7.5 by 8.5 inch piece of basic black cardstock. And this is going to be our base for the project. Then we're also going to need a piece of Granny Apple Green cardstock that we are cutting with the Frightfully Cute dies, and then the spider web in basic black, which is also cut with the Frightfully Cute dies, and a piece of basic white that is also cut from the Frightfully Cute dies. So we have the label, the spider web, and the circle all being cut from the Frightfully Cute, the Frightful Tags dies, the Frightfully Cute bundle. Okay, so this is what we're using today. And then I'm also going to be bringing in this die right here from the Dandy Wishes dies, because this is taking the place of this circle in this die cut section here. Okay, so we're going to be using this here, and you know what? It was an absolutely flippin' genius moment, if I do say so myself, but check it out. So we've got our, well, let me get my tag unstuck there. Okay, so we have the circle here, right? And it has those little tabs from this in there. Isn't that the most genius thing ever? Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of something like that before? When I was so upset that Stampin' Up! Had gotten rid of all of our layering or all of our circles dies and punches, that was the way. I don't mean the dies, by the way. I mean the punches. We have the layering circles dies. Whoo, rein that energy in, Dana. Okay, I have been running like a chicken with my head cut off all day long. So I am hyped up and ready to go. All right. Woosa. Very good. Here we go. All right, let me get those out of the way. I have my black Stampin' Dimensionals because I will be using them. I have my Cute Stars adhesive back sequins. These are so adorable, and I will be using them as well. I have already pre-cut some designer series paper for you. Of course, this is out of the Cutest Halloween, Cute Halloween designer series paper. We are working our way through the pack, and I am loving it. And I have, let's see, I've got a piece that is 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. I have 2 pieces that are 1 1/4 by 2 3/4. I have 1 piece that is 1 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then I have another piece that is 1 3/4 by 1 1/4. So this is what you need for the designer series paper. And then you'll note that I have already rounded the ends on this one end on that one, and I'm using my detailed trio punch right there. I will also do the same thing on the applicable spot on the base itself, but we need to do the scoring before I get to that point. So let me set this stuff out of the way. Breathe and woo! All right, here we go. Let me set this out of the way as well so I've got space. And I'm going to bring in my Simply Scored board. And I've got my template here, okay? Now, before we do anything else, I need to double check to make sure that I've got the direction and orientation correct. It needs to go this way. Even though my picture looks like it's longer this way, it's not to scale, so don't listen to it. It actually goes this direction first. So let me bring this one to show you. It goes this direction first. All right. So on the short side, we're going to score first, and it really does matter, okay? So score the short side first. We are scoring at 2 inches, 3.5 inches, 5.5 inches, and 7 inches. All right. And then we're going to turn the paper counterclockwise, and we're going to score at 4 inches and 7 inches. Now this is the baseline of things. Okay, so we've done I didn't mean to go all the way through at 4 inches. Don't listen to me. That wasn't meant to go all the way through. It's okay. So we're going to score here at 4 inches to this line, and then we're going to score at 7 inches all the way across. So don't do this one right here. And when you mess up like that, like Dana did on purpose so I could show you how to do this. Okay, so you have your mark, and this is the one that I want to erase, right? I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to use my bone folder, and I'm just going to burnish it out a little bit because it's okay, and it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's actually going to be covered up with designer series paper anyway, so, you know, it really doesn't matter. But forget that line's there. So this is what it should look like. Okay, so the 4-inch line goes to the bottom score line, and the 7-inch line goes all the way down. Okay, and then we're going to bring our ruler in, and we're going to set it up at the 2-inch score line. Now, if you remember, you've seen me do this before. I stick the stylus in the 2-inch mark, and then I bring my ruler, let me flip it over. I stick the stylus in the 2-inch mark, and I bring the ruler right up against the edge of it. And now I know that I can go in at any point along the ruler at 2 inches, okay? So I'm going to skip this skinny rectangle. I'm going to skip the first big rectangle section, and I'm going to go to this next rectangle section. And I'm going to score at 2 inches. Okay, so I'm going right there in that track, 2 inches. Okay. All right. Now that I've got that, I'm going to come down to 2.5 inches. There we go. And I'm going to find my 2.5 inch spot on that same section, and I'm going to come in. So I've got my 2-inch section and my 2.5 inch section. All right. Now then, I want to come down to the 3.5 inch section, and I'm going to skip that first one, or if you want to, you can go across it, but let's be in the habit of doing it the right way. Okay, so I've got my spot lined up, and then I'm going to come over, skip to the first longer rectangle, and I'm going to go across that score line. So I'm going from the first line to the second line. I'm going to skip the next one, and then I'm going to go across the next small rectangle. Okay, so I've done at the 3.5 inch mark, I skipped this first section, I crossed the first longer rectangle, skipped the next rectangle, and went across the next rectangle. Alright, so now, aside from that little line right here that I'm covering up with my finger accidentally, you pretend it doesn't exist. This is what your lines should look like. Alright? Now then, we're done with our scoring, so I can get that out of the way. And let me do some cutting. I'm going to turn my template upside down so that I have all of this negative space pointed down. Alright? I just find that for me, it works better for me to turn my template around the direction I need it to go with my paper, so that way I don't accidentally cut off the wrong thing. So right now I'm cutting alongside that long rectangle piece, in between that rectangle and the next one. I'm going to cut across that little line that we made. I'm going to cut down the next line. That's going to give me a little tab right there. And then I'm going to come all the way over here to the side. So I'm turning my template this way. And this corner rectangle is going to go away, but this second rectangle is going to be our tab. So we can start to miter from here and then cut that whole little rectangle off. So I'll just do that. Okay, so you see we're in line with the template. And then I'm going to miter this side and cut this section off. So we'll miter, and then we're going to cut up, and I'm actually going to cut kind of around this to leave all of this together. It's not necessary, but I'm just going to do that to keep it all in one piece here. So I'm cutting across that tab now, and I'm cutting down the edge, and then I'm turning and cutting up that next big rectangle. Okay, so here we are. We've cut up this side, and we cut up here, and we're going to go straight across. We'll miter that here in a minute, okay? So just cut up and across. Here we go. And then back down this side. Alright, let me get that out of the way. And now we have something that looks reasonably like our template, right? Okay, now we need to miter, miter, and miter. And we've already mitered this tab, so it's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn this back around so it's facing us. We're going to miter that corner and that one. We'll miter that one, and I need to tidy this side up just a tiny bit, so I'm going to do that right quick as well. And then we'll come down this side, and I'm going to tidy this edge up just a little bit. You see, I'm not taking anything really substantial off. I'm just cleaning it up. Okay. And then we're going to miter and miter. Okay. And then that's it here. Now we have our template. Looks a lot more like our cut piece. The last thing that we need to do is cut down each of these 4 sides. So we're at the bottom of our piece now, and we've got 2 rectangles and 2 squares. So 4 boxes. This first box is a tab, and that's right here next to this tab. So we're going to miter, and then miter. And then the rectangles are actual sides, so we'll straight cut, and then straight cut. Okay. And then the next one is a square, and it's a tab, so we're going to miter, and then miter. And then the last rectangle is our other side, so we're going to straight cut that edge. Alright, so there we go. Now this is what we will have left. Alright, let me get the template out of the way, and just like with all boxes, we're going to burnish all of these lines. So let's go ahead and do that. Remember, this is not actually supposed to be there, so we're not going to burnish that line. Alright, I'm going to start with my bottom panels. Let's bring those all up. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to bring the end tab in. I'm going to bring the little tab in, the middle tab in, and the other little tab in. Okay, and then I'll bring this little tab in. And then I'm going to just burnish the sides. Remember that that one line doesn't exist. We're pretending it's not there. Okay, so there we go. All right. Now then, we have what will be a box. You see? Before we do any assembly, we need to go ahead and put our DSP on, and then we need to cut this hole, okay? So, if you're looking at the box like this, as in it's going to be intact like this, then we need to make sure that we're rounding these ends, and then we need our designer series paper to go on this side of this piece. Alright, now I am full on with folding my boxes together again for a second to make sure that I've got them cut the right way, or I've got them turned the right way so that they don't get messed up. You feel free to faux assemble your box however many times you need to make sure you've got it right. Okay, this one is a little bit more detailed, so it takes a little bit more thought and consideration. So let's go ahead and add our designer series paper. And once again, I'm kind of faux assembling my box here. I see that this is where I want the back panel to go. So I'm just going to put that like that. Okay, and then faux assembly again. I see that I want my sides, my front, and the top right there. So I'm going to open it up, and the other side is already down. Let me bring these pieces in, and they're going to go just like this. Okay. All right. So let me put this one on. And this one. How's everybody doing? Have I lost you so far? I hope not. I'm going slow. And remember, you can always watch the replay and play and pause as many times as you like. Alright, we're going to glue this one on. Okay. There we go. And then we're going to glue this one on. Just like that. All right. Now that we've got that, I'm going to bring in my die cut machine. And I've already put a little piece of washi tape here because I'm just going to line this up, and it's going to be a super snug fit, but I want these edges here, this edge here, line it up relatively centered left to right, and I think that's good. Now, I will tell you that when I was designing this, there is, I believe it's an 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Yes, there's an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around the DSP that leaves an outline of the card base, right? But if you notice up here, it's really tight fit with that die cut because of the space, and you can see it here as well. It's a really tight fit. If you wanted to make the top DSP layer the same size as the top panel, or make it a 1/16 of an inch all the way around, I would say that probably the 1/16 of an inch all the way around would look really nice and would be finished off very well. Okay, but I have already got this cut, and I'm sticking with my 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. So bear with me. Okay, I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut machine. Grab my plates. Now you will notice that this is bigger than the Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So how on earth do I get that bugger in there to get it cut? Okay, here's what you're going to do. Fold the bottom tabs down. Put this at a little bit of an angle where this piece is hanging off the edge. And I guess you don't have to be at an angle with it necessarily, as long as this piece is hanging off the edge. And then we're going to run it through until here. We're going to stop before we get to this section because it won't go through this area. Okay, so this is some strategic planning on your part to make sure that you're only cutting what you need to and not bending up your piece. So here we go. And we hear it pop, and then we come back and we're cut. We hope we are. All right, yay, we are cut through. All right. I know that was kind of traumatic, but but it works out in the end, and it's beautiful. And you know, we don't have circle punches anymore, so that's just the way of it. But that being said, if you do happen to still have circle punches, this is, let's see here, a 1 inch or one inch or a 1 1/4 inch circle punch would be your bestest friend. So, you know, there's that. But I'm trying to keep things current, and this was a great idea. I loved it when I was looking for something that would work here. I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to use? And I had pulled out the Nothing's Better Than, you know, with the cookies and the cookies and cocktails. And I thought, you know, that the cookie die might work out really well, and then I could just trim along the inside of where the nibble was out of it, and that would work. This was way too big. I mean, as you can see, it's fine for the lid, but look at how much of a gap there is on the bottom. So this would just wobble around something fierce. And I looked through all of my stamp sets, and then I found the Garden Wishes, and I thought, I wonder if that die would be good. And so I was initially thinking about this die, but then I saw that and wondered, and when I cut it out, I thought, oh, it's like those little prongy things, you know, that secure something into a hole nicely. Oh, what a perfect idea. Okay, so anyway, there's my mindset. Now you know. All right, here we go. Back to our project. I like to use tear and tape or liquid glue whenever possible for 3D projects especially. I'm going to use tear and tape here. And I'm going to trim that off. And then I will tell you that there's another thing that I should have done with this template. This needs to be shaved off just a little bit because based on the hole, the little tabs will sort of stick through. Just the tiniest little bit. I don't know if you're not going to be able to see, but it's just microscopic. And that kind of annoyed my perfectionist mind. So I just come in here and shave off a little bit of the tab. And you can see it's not much, just a tiny little shave. It's not even 1/8 of an inch, which is why you can't just score it. Because it's like a 1/16 of an inch, and the Simply Scored board doesn't do 1/16 of an inch. So, there you go. All right. Now that I have that, let me get my Take Your Pick tool, my favoriteest tool ever. And the wonderful thing about 4-sided boxes is that they're easy to assemble. We put this tab over, and then lay this one right over the top. And then lay it over the opposite direction and press so we have a nice box. Now, as I mentioned, when it comes to assembling boxes, I am all about faux assembling as many times as you need to make sure you've got it right. So I want this to be my front panel, and I want to tuck my tabs in to give it a clean look on the inside as well as the outside. So what I want to do is I want the back flap to go in first, then each of the tabs, then the front flap. And that way I have a good clean bottom, and if I were to open my box, I have a good clean inside as well. Okay? So let me grab my tear and tape. And I'm going to put 2 strips down on what would be my front panel. One near the edge and one near the fold. Okay. And then I'm going to open my tabs, and I'm just going to put one on the inside of each of them near the edge. Okay. So, as you're looking at the box, give me that back piece. All right, as you're looking at the box, I've just tucked the front in, and then I flip it over, and the back goes in first, then the tabs, then the front. All right, so let's burnish these little pieces down and pick them off. Okay, and I'm just doing them all at once because I'm going to assemble this thing just exactly how I showed it to you a minute ago. All right, so we've got the back flap. Let me push it back out there. We've got the back flap, tab 1, tab 2, and the front panel right over the top. Okay. Now I'll go inside with my bone folder and I'm going to give it a nice burnish. This is going to give us a really sturdy base to our box. Okay. Now I'll close the flap back up again. And now we'll push our M&Ms through and you will see that that thing pushed a little too far. That thing is the perfect top for our M&Ms. Okay, so we've got that. We've got the tabs here. We've got the M&Ms seated beautifully. And our holder is assembled. All right. We don't need this piece anymore, but don't throw it away because you may find some use for it. I haven't yet, but I haven't been looking too much. But I'm sure there's a use. All right, now you have your label, your spider web, and your circle, okay? So we're going to get the stamp that says less trickin', more treatin', because I think that's super cute. And Memento black ink. I'm going to try to make sure I get this in the middle. Yeah, there we go. All right. That out of the way. Okay, now you can see here, we're going to layer everything up, and we're layering it all up on dimensionals. So I'm going to get my black dimensionals out here. And I'll put a couple of dimensionals behind my label. And I'm just going to use what I've got left. Oh, not too far. What I've got left of my little scraps here. Put one of these. There we go. And I'm not putting them near the edges because, as you see, it's going to hang over just a little bit. Okay. We'll put that down just a little bit shy of middle. Okay. All right. And then we're going to put a dimensional right in the middle of the spider web. Isn't it so cute? I really like this spider web. It is very, very cute. And then I'm going to put one more little dimensional in front of the spider web, and we'll stick this right on there. Okay. And we're trying to kind of center it up a little bit, which is a little bit hard to do when I'm not standing directly over it. Here, I'm going to turn this up here. Less trickin', more treatin'. That is the cutest little thing. There we go. All right. Less trickin', more treatin'. Okay, now then, we're going to take some of our adhesive stars here that we've been playing with and we love, right? We love our little adhesive stars. Okay, I'm going to use the black ones, and I'm going to put one of them right here, one of them right here. Wish we had some green ones. And then one down here. All right. And then the only thing left to do is to tie some ribbon around it, which, by the way, I don't have any more of on my table. So give me 1 second. All right, here we go. I used it all on my last project. But you know, the good thing about this is that we can choose which one we'd like to use, right? So for this one, I used the little gingham one, but I'm honestly thinking that maybe the organdy one would be nice. What do you think? I think that would be good, huh? Okay, let's do that. All right, now I do know that this is approximately 12 inches of ribbon. All right, that's what you're going to need. Of course, those of you who follow me know that I like really to just tie it directly from the spool, so that way I'm not wasting any. And we're just going to tie it into a knot. So I'm going to bring it around here and pull that loop through. And I want to bring it as close as possible to that because it is already a bit of a long tail. There we go. Let me trim this off and tie my knot. I think that organdy ribbon was a good choice. All right, there we go. And then, of course, snip off your ends to make it look neat and tidy. I don't know where the other tail went, but there it is. Okay. All right, friends, there we have it. Super cute M&M treat holders. Absolutely love them. I have a fun fact over on my blog. When the post goes live here in just a little bit, give it a little bit because it's not there yet. And you'll be able to see the template that you'll be able to print out. And I will fix that where it says to score all the way through at 4 inches. You don't do that. Don't score it at 4 inches. Let me just fix that right here. We're not going to do that one. We'll do the 7-inch one, but not the 4-inch one. Okay, and I will fix it on the template and then reload it up on the blog. So give me just a little bit to get that fixed and make sure that you guys don't accidentally score through that line that shouldn't be scored through. And then I will see you all back here again tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for day 11 of the 13 days of Halloween treats. Folks, I hope that you have a super, super fabulous day. And until next time, my friends, I will see you later. Bye for now.